Salutations, fellow nerds. I'm Rick Y, the Wise Guy, and today's January 2nd, 2025. Given the craziness of the recent events, I felt like maybe giving y'all a moment of zen, as it were. Some good fluffy stuff. So, if you enjoy news, history, and Americana, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. I would be much obliged. So, sit a spell. Take your shoes off. Tesla dropped 1.1%, which is the first annual decline in a dozen years. That's all I wanted to say about that part. Giant sloths were to have lived alongside human beings in the Americas for millennia. And while scientists thought for a long time that the arrival of humans spelled the extinction for these massive animals, it appears as though early American humans lived alongside these creatures from the savanna to the swamps for a lot longer, which could alter the way anthropologists approach historical scientific events. In microbiology news, scientists have recreated the events that led to the rise of complex life. A term called endosymbiosis refers to a set of phenomena wherein a microorganism takes up a dwelling within the inside of another, and many have theorized that this led to the emergence of multicellular organisms. The problem is that scientists have had difficulty understanding how it occurs. A microbiologist by the name of Julia Vorholt at the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology in Zurich, Switzerland, was able to demonstrate that complex life could have come from a symbiosis between infection and harmony. In prehistoric podiatry news, a set of 200 of the largest dinosaur footprints have been found in the UK during a construction project. These footprints are believed to be 166 million years old and have British scientists rightfully freaking out. As reported by CBS News, quote, the site features five extensive trackways, with the longest continuous track stretching almost 500 feet in length. Keep in mind, these are the largest in UK's history, not the world. Tonight, what is known as the quadrantid meteor shower is set to peak, and since there's no moon, it will be dark enough to see just outside of town to catch what are supposed to be some pretty beautiful blue streaks of light. So if you're interested in cosmic science, it's best to get out there about midnight to 3 a.m. if you want a solid view. Speaking of poking God right in the eye news, the Parker Solar Probe sent home the first data that it recorded in a closest flyby of the sun that we have ever achieved. What many people don't understand is that the corona, the outer atmosphere of the sun, is actually several thousand times hotter than the surface of the sun, which means that it's hotter farther from the heat source itself. This is kind of a crazy phenomena that scientists are still trying to figure out, and the Parker Solar Probe will help in that endeavor. Space.com reached out to JHUAPL's spokesperson Michael Buckley to share his uncontrollable elation with this quote: all is looking good with the spacecraft systems and instrument operations. Understand that the excitement is definitely there. It is seething just below the surface. Not to let Buckley over here undersell it or anything, it is insane how we were able to take basic materials here on Earth, fashion them into a vehicle that went into space, but then used the energy of our closest star to navigate that vehicle into the star itself. And it's traveling so fast that were we to use it to go from New York to San Francisco, it would take 22 seconds.
Please clap.
Yes, I get it. I'm a huge space nerd, and I understand some of you may not be as into it as I am. So, moving on to Vortex mammal news. Scientists in Europe have discovered that bats are using storm fronts to travel across the continent in their migration patterns. Like birds, some bats have also been observed in nature to fly great distances in migratory patterns. Birds, unlike bats, have a little bit of an easier time doing this given their ability to fly greater distances. Bats carry significantly more challenges to make these trips physically possible. So, using sensors that connected to each other, the Max Planck Institute of Animal Behavior recorded noctule bats surfing on storm fronts so as to make these epic flights. Prior to the study, we had yet identified what triggered the bats to start migrating. This will hopefully help reduce human related incidents that bats face on a regular basis. I understand that this was short, and it may have been a little bit random, but I want everyone to remember, everybody, this is a world, a big world, full of big things going on in a big universe. And there's a lot more than just the doom scrolling that we can inadvertently find ourselves doing in bed or while we lose feeling to our feet while we sit on the toilet. We need to remember that we need to try and kind of keep up on even the cool, interesting, or relevant science stories in our radar as well. It can only help us all to stay informed, stay engaged, and stay decent. Until next time, y'all come back now. You hear?